Okay, so this was we have done discussing. Yes, so I was discussing about the security policies. Security policies. So where we having a very advanced features, security policies and policy administrations. How the policy can be sequence in the Palo Alto firewall, how the sequence should be. If we not correctly sequence the policy, what the impact is going to happen to the Palo Alto firewall or your network. Might be you create one policy, but yes, its sequence is not right, then probably you will be trouble for your network. You might be deny something which is going to block all your network, or might be you create one policy where you allow something, it is going to allow for whole of the network. So this policy administration should be like very good way, so your network will be the fully controlled, not be like masked. Next thing, the NAT. So we are going to understand the four NAT policy, four type of NAT: the source NAT, destination NAT, U-turn NAT, and dual NAT. And all thing will do the labs. And all type of NAT will understand why you use the source NAT, why you use the destination NAT, what is the U-turn NAT, what is the dual NAT. 90% interview question they will ask this kind of the questions. So you understand how it is going to be configured and how the testing is going to be happen. So this, if you understand, then probably you know how to create the security profile, how to create the NAT policy, and all from this Palo Alto firewall. So this is the like these are the modules in first phase. Probably we're going to cover where we understand first about the firewall, about the architecture, about the flow logic, and then we'll understand how one brand new firewall is going to be configured. So let's say suppose your company purchase one firewall, then how basically we onboard in the network, what is the basic configuration requirement. So basically in my lab I have each and everything. So this is like one of the lab, it was open. So let me just show you the lab access, how it is going to be happen. So probably once you guys register yourself, you'll get the lab portal access. And from that lab portal access, you guys having a complete EVNG lab platform, and that is a very powerful labs. I can just tell this kind of lab probably you'll not find very easily somewhere in the other organizations. So this organization like Networks King having a very powerful servers, very powerful like topology behind the rack, and you'll get the direct access once you register yourself. And once you'll get the access, probably we you will get all lab access. So you understand from day one how to configure the Palo Alto firewall. So from basic, we'll configure the Palo Alto firewall. Let's say suppose this is the first lab. So I'll show you how one lab is going, how one Palo Alto firewall is going to be on board in the network, how the console cable is going to be connect. So console, how the console of the firewall is going to be taken, what the basic minimum configuration is going to be happen, how we can take a GUI access of the firewall, and how we can take the CLI access of the firewall. Okay, what are the default configuration of the firewall? Okay, how the IP is going to assign on the interfaces. So these are basic information you are going to do in the very day one first class. So probably we'll do by tomorrow, because today we are just doing the general discussion. So I'm not going to do this all basic things, but definitely tomorrow onward I'll start from the day day one, where I'll just let you know how to configure the very first brand new firewall, and that is going to cover under this initial access system and configuration management and licensing and software and account administration. So these all things we are going to do. But before going to this initial configuration, we should have some background of the Palo Alto firewall. We should know what are the model available in the market for the Palo Alto firewall, how they are basically different one model to another model. So you can see we having the Palo 200 series of the firewall, which having the PA 220, PA 220R, and 820. We having the 3220 firewall module. We having a 5280 firewall module. We having the 7000 firewall module. So we'll try to compare even. You should know, guys, what is the firewall and what are the different, which firewall should I install in my network. So probably if you're going to any interview or some kind of the higher role, so you should know what is the need of the firewall and which model is appropriate for me. So This way you can, if you know that data set, if you know the differences, which firewall having the what kind of feature, then probably you can use that your brain to just use the correct firewall. Additionally, if I go in the internet, we'll understand firewall. So if I'm going to an image, you can see that in Palo Alto firewall, we having, let's open. So this image you can see here, this image, copy image. Let me just paste somewhere. So you can see here, this is the firewall. And in this firewall, you can see we having a different ports, console ports. This is another console port, USB port, management port, some light. So you guys also understand why you use these ports, why you use the management port, why you use the console port, how the connectivity is going to happen, why you use the USB port. So these are the things we are going to understand in the initial setup and during the configuration of the firewall, which is tomorrow we are going to understand definitely. And then we'll understand the differences between the firewalls. If you guys understand, if you're having that much understanding, that at least you know why the Palo Alto firewall is important and what are the differences between the different model of the firewall. Then after doing this all, we understand the packet flow and all, which is going to cover here, single pass and parallel processing architecture. The most important thing also, we understand the security zone that might be new for you all, and the interface type. You might be heard about the layer 2, layer 3, and I'm sure you know about that because you all are from the network and security background. So you know what is the layer 2 interface and layer 3 interface and sub interface and DSCP, but might be new for the virtual wire and tap and virtual routers. So these things probably you have to understand when I teach you. If you don't have any idea what is a virtual router, how it is different from the VRF, or it is similar to the VRF, how it is going to be configured in the Palo Alto firewall, where this section is going to be happen, how the routing, how the OSPF is going to be configured, how the BGP is going to be configured, how the RIP is going to be configured, how the static route is going to be configured, going to be configured, how the redistribution is going to be happen. These all topics it is going to be covered in the virtual routing sections. So that I'll explain. Okay. Additionally, after this all, we'll understand the application ID. This is the trademark. You can see this where you see the trademark TD, content ID, application ID, and the this user ID. You can see TD is equal to trademark. So this is copyright of the Palo Alto firewall. And these are the three features which make Palo Alto firewall is very unique. None of the firewall having this much feature. Might be they having, but they having a similar feature, but they cannot use the same name what the Palo Alto have make as a trademark. Trademark means the whatever the word, whatever the logo, whatever the company name, whatever the product they having a trademark. Nobody can having a right to do the copyright unless or until company can give the right to use that particular things. So these are the three features which make the Palo Alto firewall is a very unique. Application identification, I'll tell very detailed what is application identification, how it is going to work, and how many application already available in the Palo Alto database, how they recognize the application. So you can see here is the Applipedia. In this Applipedia, we having a total number of application for the Palo Alto firewall is 3648 applications. How the different application is classified in the different category, and what are the subcategory, and what are the technology, and what are the risk, and how they basically going to play a vital role while defining the security policy, which is going to be performed on the application layer, which are the layer 7 again. So these all things we are going to cover in our session, and we'll discuss these all things.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, go ahead, please ask your questions.
Applipedia means we are using directly firewall take the update from the Applipedia, or we will identify the means content ID from here.
See, this Applipedia is the open source where you can see the all application which is available on the Palo Alto database.
Okay.
And the same all application is available in the Palo Alto firewall.
Yeah,
so if
that
you,
one I'm asking.
yes. So same application are synced together. So what you just need one internet access from firewall to the internet, and it will automatically update all the application information what is available in the Applipedia. So you can
That's
just
mean
refer it. Yeah.
that's mean whenever Palo Alto update the database into database, that Palo Alto device from anywhere they can take update into the
Yes.
device.
Yes, sir. Yes, you are right. So this is how we'll understand the category and everything, and how it is going to happen, and how this policy, how this application are going to be, club with the policy, and how policy is going to be enforced. So these things we'll going to cover in very detail, because we having very long journey to go, and the content ID already I explained. This content ID is also very powerful. What is inside of your content of this communication? So let's say suppose this user, let me just go on this lab, this one lab. Okay. So this user talking to the internet, let's say suppose talking to internet, it is downloading one of the file, let's say Word file. So are this Word file having any unappropriate content? Let's suppose this might be having a virus. This might be having the vulnerability, or might be the file he is downloading that is not allowed to download inside the company network. So this all things is basically going to be covered in the content. The firewall is going to read what exactly content is going through from user to any destination, or what content he is downloading from internet to PC. So that content inspection is going to be happen from the Palo Alto firewall. File blocking also is going to be done. Wildfire I already explained. SSL decryptions, that is the most hotcake topic in the Palo Alto firewall. We'll understand how the decryption is going to be happen. If any file is encrypted, how the encrypted file firewall is going to be understand, how the decryption policy is going to be applied. This is also we are going to understand. So till now, you guys, any questions you can ask, because I'm speaking since last 45 minutes, non-stop. So you can ask anything if you want to just have a discussion. You want to do any discussion, any query, anyone having any kind of the like questions you want to just discuss, you can ask with me. I don't have any issue to discuss anything. If you are not
I have
even
a
a Palo,
question for you.
yeah,
So are you recording this section, and how can we access it?
yeah, this session is going to be recorded. Even if it is available on the YouTube video, so probably you get the link, or it is also recorded, so it is going to be uploaded in your portal.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Means,
thank you.
excuse me, I'm asking what is interzone, intrazone, universal zone?
Yeah, that is really nice question. I really appreciate. So that you are definitely going to understand. We having a two default policy by default available in the firewall. That is the intra zone policy and inter zone policy. Okay. So these two things we are going to understand in very detail when we are going to discuss this security zone. So I'll explain very deep how it is going to happen, what that means intra zone and inter zone. So let me just little bit give an idea. So you asked a really nice question. So just I'm giving the little bit idea. So if I talk about the intra zone, so that means let's say suppose zone could be any name. Just think about for time being, might be some people not going to digest, because you are not going to understand from very basic, because I'm in just discussing random topics today. So zone could be any name. So let's say you put one zone name as a trust. Okay. And if any traffic wanted to, or another zone is DMG. So two zone I have. So any traffic is going from trust to trust, that is known as the intra zone. Okay. So your traffic is going from one zone to another zone, which are the basically same zone, but any traffic is going from DMG to trust. So you are changing your zone, that is known as the inter zone policy. So if you are going in the same zone, that is the intra zone. If you are going in this another zone, one zone to another zone, that is the inter zone. So we'll discuss this part. Okay. So definitely you understand.
And the universal zone?
There is a universal, there is no universal zone. You having the universal policy settings. You just have to define, and it will just take a global policy setting. There is no universal zone in Palo Alto firewall. Okay. Only two zone we having, inter zone and intra zone. Okay.
Okay. Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for asking.
Uh, how many interface we can configure in a single zone?
All interfaces you can configure in the single zone. Whatever interface you have in the Palo Alto firewall, all you can configure in the single zone.
There is any limit, means
How many zone you can configure, or how many interface you can configure? Can you just elaborate your questions, because I want to understand what is it?
If I have three zones, okay.
Uh-huh.
One is trusted, untrusted, and DMG. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So and how much maximum interface is available on the firewall?
So maximum interface, it totally depends the model of the firewalls. Okay. So let's say suppose you having a 16 interface. Let's say I'm giving an example, or 8 interface of the firewalls. Okay. So you have to check the data set, how many interface it having. Okay. So
Okay.
if let's say suppose it's coming for the 8 interface, so even you want to configure all interface in the trust, you can configure. But this is not practically it is going to happen. But firewall is not going to deny. Firewall interface just need one zone name, and if we're going to define any zone name, it is going to take. But technically it is not going to be happen in the real environment.
Correct.
You have to use different zone for different purpose. If they are all under the same zone, then there is no need of the firewalls. Okay.
Yes.
In a one zone, we can configure multiple sub interface.
Yes, definitely. If
Suppose there is
if
a suppose we have required a multiple subnet IP.
so that's why
in this case,
I let me show you. We having a very good lab for this particular topic, what you were asking. So I have an inter-VLAN lab. So where it is, so you can multi-VLAN, you can see here. So in this multi-VLAN, what is going to happen? You can see this is the zone 10 and this is the zone 20. And these two PC are going to talk with the Palo Alto firewall. But these are two different zones, and they connected this Palo Alto firewall with a single physical interface. So we have to use the sub interfacing here. And then we'll see how the inter-zone communication is going to happen with the same physical interface, how the inter-VLAN routing is going to be happen on the firewall. So this is a lab. So I'll explain. No worry for that. You completely know how it is going to be happen.
yes,
Okay.
yes, right.
Yeah.
Actually, suppose the firewall is communicating into the same zone. In that
Mhm.
case, we are using intra zone. So
Mhm.
in the intra zone, there will be the two different subnet. That's mean the in the same subnet they will communicate.
Say if you're talking about the inter-zone, okay, inter-zone, that means your traffic is coming. Just I'm taking a trust and it is going to DMG, not the same. Okay. So
Yes.
trust having a subnet might be 10x, and DMG having a subnet might be the 20x. So these are two different subnets. So in that case, you need a security policy, and you might you need yes, you need a security policy. Either you allow or deny. If you allow, then they will communicate. If it is not allowed, they are not going to communicate. Similarly here, VLAN 10 is a one zone, VLAN 20 is the one zone. But in this case, they are connecting with via the one interface to the firewall. So we have to create the sub interface .1q interface, like router on a stick, what we have learned in the CCNA or CCNP, and similarly they are going to communicate, and
Is
we
it
have to
mandatory
deploy.
to define the zone into the intra zone? Because other firewall have noted that concept.
Yes, in Palo
Zone.
Alto, it's mandatory. You have to make this note in Palo Alto firewall. It is mandatory. Every interface where you defining the IP address, you must have to define one zone.
No,
Without
that's why I'm
zone,
not asking. I am
huh?
asking it's mandatory to make a member of intra zone of the zone. Suppose we have created multiple zone. That it's mandatory to make a member of the intra zone. Or
See,
without intra zone, we can configure the
say,
zone.
yes. So let's say suppose this firewall having a this 3 interface, right, or 4 interface.
Yes.
So this interface having a trust zone, right? And this one also having a trust zone. This one having a DMG zone, and this one having the out zone. Let's say this is a scenario, right? So if any traffic coming from this PC and wanted to talk this PC, or this, let's suppose these are 4 PC connected here. So this PC want to talk this PC. So traffic is coming from trust and wanted to go in trust. By default, no policy is going to required. They use intra zone policy, which is default rule available in the Palo Alto firewall, right? Makes sense. But let's say suppose this PC want to talk with DMG PC, then they by default going to be blocked, because inter zone policy, zone policy, default policy is available in the Palo Alto firewall. where everything is blocked. So you have to create a new
Hello?
policy, where
Hello,
you have to
Shorty,
allow
can
the
you hear me?
communication.
Òun náà ni àwọn ti gbè mí lẹ́ẹ̀mẹ́ta mi ò gbé fóònù Táyé ló wá pè mí ló wá ń sọ fún mi mo ní congratulations.
Okay, guys. So you understand, right?
Yeah, yes, got it.
Okay. So last section we'll understand about the user ID. Well, I explain how the AD is going to map with this Palo Alto firewall. I stopped this lab, but also and side-to-side VPN management and the reporting, and that HA module we're going to understand. So these all module we are going to understand throughout the session. And after completing these all module, you will be eligible to complete clearly PC NSA exam, and you are also eligible to clear your PC NSC exam. But some advanced topic like I'm not going to cover here. That is a global protect. I'm not going to cover panorama. I'm going to cover, but that is like we having a lab limitation. So we understand like panorama basic concept, some kind of the configuration, what we can do, but global protect is not part of that. So if you do that global protect topic also, then you are just ready to go for the PC NSC exam. So almost 90% course of the PC NSC we are going to cover here, and PC NSC is like definitely you're going to understand. And after doing this, I'm sure you will be become champion on the Palo Alto firewall if you just execute all the labs what I have just explained during my sessions, because I'm just going to cover each and every steps of how the Palo Alto firewall is going to work, and how the like real-time testing, real-time environment, the communication is going to happen, how the security policy is going to be enforced and all.
How to monitor means if any kind of traffic is coming, we want to see that's the flow from where to where traffic has come. That one we can also check.
Yes, definitely. That is a very good feature available in the Palo Alto firewall. So I'll show you how it is going to happen. And it is like real-time traffic, real-time sessions. We see that in the Palo Alto firewall.
Okay.
So tomorrow I'll show, no worry for that. Okay. So
Okay.
tomorrow when I'll start the session on the same time, I'll just explain that all. Okay.
Okay.
Whatever I can explain in the day one. Okay.
Okay.
So that's all, guys, for today's session from my end. Anyone having any questions, they are feel free to ask me, because from tomorrow we'll just start our normal discussion, normal topic from the as per our syllabus.
Okay.
Anything, any random questions, anything you guys want to discuss with me?
Hello.
Yeah, hi sir, Virana here.
Yes, hi.
Yeah, hi sir.
Virana.
Just I wanted to ask, like in router and routing models, we will upgrade the iOS version, right? So is there any iOS version upgradation like in firewalls, or is there any?
Yes, we have. That is part of this particular. I'll explain how it is going to happen. Licensing and software upgrade. You can see this module.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So I'll explain how the OS version. This is the common things you have to do in the operation jobs in your companies. You should know how the iOS version is going to be upgraded. Let's say suppose today my firewall is running on the 8.8 code, and you just have to go in some new code. Then how it is going to happen? Let's suppose your firewall is running on this code. You have to upgrade on this code, or might be this code. Then how the upgradation or downgradation is going to be happen, upgrade or downgrade is going to be happen. This is going to be covered. Okay. So no need to worry about that. All right, welcome. Anyone having anything to discuss? Yes, Sumesh.
Is there any similarity between?
Your voice is breaking. Your voice is breaking, Subham. So
hello.
yes, Subham, tell me.
Is there any difference between Palo Alto firewall and Palo Alto cybersecurity?
See, cybersecurity is something different, and firewall is something different, but both are interlinked. Okay, so cybersecurity is one of the kind of the wider scopes where it's having a very wide visibility of your infrastructure. But Palo Alto firewall, one of yes, Palo Alto firewall is one of the component of the cybersecurity who is protecting your network.
Yes.
So I can just simply say in this way. Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Welcome, Subham. Anyone else want to have do any discussion? Feel free to ask any question, guys. Not even the firewall. If you're having any SD-WAN, any routing, switching, any kind of the Zscaler, any proxy, whatever you having any doubt, you can ask me. No issue.
So Zscaler means it is like a VPN, or how it is, sir?
No. Zscaler is very, common right now. It's very,
High demand.
yes, high demand. So if you know Zscaler, you are like highly paid resource. So Zscaler is like one of kind of the proxy. Okay. So, or you can say secure web gateway, SWG. But still Zscaler having a two flavor. I'm just giving the basic idea. Zscaler having a two flavor. One is the GIA, Zscaler Internet Access. One is the GPA. Zscaler,
GPA.
yeah, Zscaler Private Access. So GPA, just think about global protect or like site remote user VPNs, where you just connect your laptops by setting in home to your company network. So it's acting as a VPNs to connect from internet to your office network. I'm just giving the overview of that, how it is going to be happen. But GIA is actually your secure web gateway. Okay, we are working as a proxy. So these are the two basic different, and I would suggest you guys, if you get a chance to work on Zscaler, you should blindly work on this Zscaler product because it's a very high demand. And if you know the Palo Alto firewall, you can easily understand the GIA proxy and security policy, URL filtering, web filtering, CASB. A lot of features are similar. Just you have to know how to play around it. If you have in the basic fundamental of the security, you can easily learn the GIA.
Yeah,
Okay.
means we can load balance the traffic through the Zscaler, right?
Somewhat load balancing is something different. F5 load balancing, that is something different. But yes, you can share the loads, okay, from the different chain of the Zscalers, but not exactly load balancing. Okay.
I have one question.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
from a high security level zone, can we enter low security level directly, or we require policy
No,
for
I
that?
say high and low. That is part of the ASA, right?
Yes, right.
This is
Yes.
not applicable in the Palo Alto. Just forget about that. There is no concept of the high and low.
Okay.
Zone is just a name. Any name you can just put. I'll tell about that. It
But
could be my name, Pankaj, your name, Umesh, or whatever your name. It could be any name.
John,
But there is
means we
no
can
but
divide
everywhere
the
we
firewall into
require
multiple.
policy.
everywhere we require a policy. When we having traffic, it is going from one zone to another zone. Let's say trust to DMG. That is intra zone, right? Inter zone.
Yes.
Then we
Interzone.
require the policy. If the traffic is going from trust to trust or DMG to DMG, then there is no policies required. By default, we having a policy where everything is allowed.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you guys having no further question, we can close this session for today, and we'll connect tomorrow on the same time, and we'll start our actual syllabus by tomorrow. All okay, guys? Or is still anyone having any question? Let me know. Final opportunity.
Yes, sir. And one thing, sir,
Mhm.
do we need any knowledge of like Red Hat Linux and the Kali Linux for this for Palo Alto?
No.
Whether
I just have included here for this for the demonstration purpose. No knowledge is required. I'll just use for the just AD server, FTP server to just make lab our become very interactive, and we can execute all the things what we exactly want. That's why I just included these all servers. No knowledge is required for the Palo Alto syllabus. Okay.
yeah, okay, sir.
Hello.
All right. Yes.
Hi, sir. Actually, my company is migrating from Fortinet to Palo Alto. So it is a
Hmm.
possibility to transfer all tunnel automationally to Palo Alto. Here we are manually creating the tunnel right now.
So there is no possibility because the syntax are completely different. So you have to do manual configurations, or you have to build one script, or you can just have to add the manual entries and you just have to run. Then it is possible. But the
Okay.
migration completely from the FortiGate to Palo Alto, it is, as per my knowledge, not possible. You can just
Okay.
blindly migrate.
Okay. And just we have to go manually only.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Okay.